And I think I do that with a bunch of baking too. I overcomplicate things.
Well, you know, when we're having people over, we want to enjoy time with our people.
Yes.
And also getting into that day, leading up to it. You don't want to be in the kitchen for hours and hours and hours on end, right? If you don't have to be.
Yes.
I was that mom for years, and I should publicly apologize to my son. I'm so sorry. Because I was the one who's like, get out of the kitchen.
Yes.
No, I was going crazy. And we don't have to do that.
No.
There's no shame.
No.
And there's shame in the shortcut game. That's my tagline.
I love that.
It's a bumper sticker.
I love that. So some of the things that you do is you make your own vanilla.
I do.
And you make your own brown sugar.
I do.
So you're going to tell us about how you make vanilla, and then we're going to make our own brown sugar today.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So tell me about the vanilla.
Okay. So I'll say I do like to make my own. It's not always cost effective to do your own thing, but you know what goes in it.
Yes.
And it's real, and it's just usually so much better.
I think in today's world, that's so important to know what goes in, the ingredients.
Yes. So as you can see floating in here are vanilla beans.
Okay.
And I have some here.
Okay. Where do you get those?
So I found I can order them online, or once in a while our big membership box stores will carry.
Okay.
Especially around the holidays.
Okay.
Check, because you can get a really good deal on vanilla beans.
Okay.
They're not cheap. But because I'm frugal, not cheap.
There's a difference. There's a difference.
I never ever throw my beans away. So as I make more vanilla, the old beans just live there. So I have one jar at home, or one bottle that's probably got 20 beans in it, because I just keep using them. Why
Yes,
not? Really?
right,
Why not?
right.
So anyway, vanilla is basically vodka and vanilla beans.
I did not know that.
So when you get your beans, I split them. I just take a knife and split them and drop them in a bottle of vodka. I use the whole bottle because I use enough vanilla. Now you can do smaller bottles. This is a refill bottle that I'll just refill when I run low. But you can, and it doesn't have to be expensive. You know, I was watching a podcast once, and they bought the cheapest $6 hoochie vodka they could find, and it was great. So.
Because you don't use that much of it in a recipe.
No,
it's not like you're sitting there and
you're not
guzzling half
guzzle.
a cup. Yeah, it's a teaspoon or a tablespoon at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Okay, that's good to know.
Vodka, vanilla beans. Now, I put the beans in, I shake it around every week or so. I shake it, keep it in a dark, cool spot, and mine sits for 6 months to a year.
Okay.
And after 6 months to a year, it's a nice, dark, strong vanilla. It's a great, great way to do it. It's so easy.
I love that. Perfect.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to make some brown sugar.
Brown sugar.
Because brown sugar and vanilla kind of go hand in hand when you're baking.
Yes, they do.
All right, so I'm going to put some gloves on because you're going to put me to work.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to make brown sugar.
Make brown
this is
sugar.
incredible because I didn't know that you could make brown sugar.
It's so quick and easy. And you know, again, it's not always about the cost, and although this is not terribly expensive to make, I would prefer to make this rather than spend $2, $3 on a bag of brown sugar. Number one, the bags come in plastic, and I don't want to be that person, but there's a little off-leaching that can happen, and you smell it. You smell the chemicals in it.
Yes.
I do anyway.
Yes.
And so I tend to make my own. Now I go to my big membership store and I buy raw sugar.
Okay.
You can just use regular sugar though, or any bigger granulated sugar, anything. And molasses. Unsulfurated molasses, you want that.
Unsulfurated,
So
okay.
you can pick that up at your local grocery store in a little bottle, or you can get the bigger bottles, however much you're going to use. Right?
Okay.
So when I normally do it, I use my big mixer.
Okay.
And I do 7 cups of sugar to 1 cup of molasses.
Okay.
And you can make it darker or lighter.
Depending on what you want.
Yes.
Well, they have dark brown sugar and light brown sugar. That makes sense. Okay.
So what we're going to do, I've already measured out. This is 2 cups of sugar.
All right. I'm going to put it in our big bowl.
Yep. And then we've got a little container of molasses. I'm sorry, I forgot to open that for you.
That's all right.
That is just molasses.
And how much molasses
there's
then?
2 tablespoons of molasses in that. So basically, in this, if you're just doing a tiny little bit, you're running low on brown sugar, a cup of sugar and a tablespoon of molasses.
Okay.
We'll do you, yep.
Can I use this?
Yep, absolutely, whatever you want to use. We just scoop that on up. Now, some
I can
people will
smell the
tell you,
molasses.
isn't it lovely?
Yeah.
Some people will say, oh, you know, put a little oil in your measuring cup or whatever, and it'll slide right out. Please don't.
Yeah,
don't
it'll
do
change. I would imagine it changes the texture and
it does, and you don't need it. I mean, that's why we have dishwashers. That's why we have spatulas, and so
It'll just get it out.
So our fun Danish mix.
Oh yes.
Let's use that.
All right.
You can scrape that off if you want, and then yeah, and then just
mix.
Yep, and just keep doing that, and you'll see it transform. Now, again, when you're doing a great big batch of it, I highly recommend you use a mixer.
Sure, that makes sense.
This is going to take a minute as you're doing it. You can see it though; it's starting to really mix well in there. And I will tell
Wow.
you, yeah, see, it's coming together. And
Yes.
again, it might take a minute because you do it by hand, but you can see it's starting to.
It's already
combine.
starting.
Yeah.
And so you
it's
just do this
easy.
until it looks like regular brown sugar.
Yeah, yeah. And so again, and it might be a little, like I said, a few minutes. And you can switch to this thing if you want to make it mashed in a little better, whichever.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'm going to keep mixing. You show us about the cupcakes.
Okay, let's talk cupcakes.
Okay.
So the other thing, excuse my reach.
You're good.
Bakery cupcakes are lovely, and as a business owner, it's not very cost effective for me to do this, but when I'm home and I'm just having friends over, whatever, I'm just confessing to my friends that I'm doing this live. Oh my gosh, how did I fall into that? Oh. Anyway.
Now you know. Now you know the secret.
Now you know. So, in honor of bee season, because we got our bees.
Yeah, and you have your cute little bee shirt on too.
you.
I love that.
Thank you, Grandma Betty. Grandma Betty sent this to me. She's in Colorado. It's my favorite top.
So cute.
We got our bees in, so I'm like, hey, that signifies summer. Summer lemon happy.
Yes.
So, box mixes. There's been a stigma attached to box mixes that is just unfair. There's nothing wrong with a box mix. You can glam it up. So, when you buy your favorite box mix, the way to make it more like a bakery, it calls for 3 eggs, add an egg.
4 eggs.
So you'll have 4 eggs.
Okay.
It calls for oil, melt butter, half a cup of oil, a stick of butter instead.
Okay.
It calls for water, use milk. And that will give that dense, nice bakery cake texture,
okay, but
right?
you can use a box mix to do that.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So if I could get you to hand me that knife right there, we're gonna just have some
It's a knife.
fun. Oh yes. Would you like to cut the top off?
Yes.
So we're gonna cut the top off. You don't have to.
All right.
I
The
did
top
just,
right here? Or
Yep.
go halfway?
This is the top.
Okay.
Yep. I just cut the top off because I could. You don't have to do that. So I found these cute little bakery cups. After I baked them. So I'm gonna throw that, and do you wanna do one too?
Sure.
Since we'll take a break from the sugar and you can have some fun with zhuzhing up our cupcakes.
Okay.
So we're gonna throw that down in there. And then I went and I bought a little can of pie filling.
Oh.
You don't have to make your own lemon curd.
Okay.
Right? You don't have to, there's a spoon there. So you can scoop a little lemon on there. And that just gives a little burst of lemon.
Okay.
To you. All right, and then this is the biggest hack of all that I love. So I bought a tub of my icing, the store-bought kind. I bought lemon.
Okay.
And I threw it in my mixer, and I added cream cheese to it.
Oh.
You can do a block, which I did a whole block because I wanted a softer icing, but you can do a half a block and make it a little stiffer, right? So you add that, and I added a little bit of lemon flavoring to it, and I just zhuzh it up. That's my best word.
I
so
love
then
that.
You can take your icing and you just hold it and you squeeze the back end like this and zip it around.
Before, after I put the top on?
No. Or you can put the top back on if you want. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you can just swirl it around there.
How
And then of
cute
course
is that?
we've got our little sprinkles. We have our little bee sprinkles. So if you want to decorate, there's some tweezers. You can put flowers and bees on.
I'm going to put a little bee on one.
And then we've got some bee beads and sprinkles here. And then there, you have a
How
lemon cupcake.
cute is
You know
that?
what? It takes literally 20 minutes to bake and maybe 5 or 6 minutes to throw together. And your guests will be like, that is so adorable. And guess what?
They would be very impressed with this because this is not me at all. But thank
There
you
you
for
go.
teaching me how to be a really good baker, even though I don't. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You can contact Rhonda at Ingramssmallbatchllc.square.site to get your small batch needs filled. And don't forget to follow her on Facebook. Promotional consideration furnished by